for Remembrance Day, we're going to do a bugle improvisation. Bugles are used in the military to communicate with different parts of the Army. This particular bugle call is to call the men for breakfast. So what makes a bugle sound like a bugle? Obviously, it has a unique timbre. The sound of the instrument is sort of like a trumpet. However, there are certain elements that we can apply to the piano to make up a bit of a bugle sound. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop that share. Bear with me for just a sec. I'm going to open up my grand staff sheet quickly here. And you can grab yours while you're waiting from your practice kit and a whiteboard marker. There we go. All right, so I'm going to write in the notes of the bugle scale. There's a very limited set of notes that bugles can use, and that's one of the reasons that they sound so distinctive. The notes are C, and that's middle C, very specifically, treble G, treble C, treble E, and high G. And you might notice that that's only 3 letters total, C, E, and G. And that's all they can play. So take a second and play up each of those notes going up the piano. So treble C, treble G, and then treble C, E, and high G. Okay. So now we're going to kind of pick a set of those, just 3 of those notes. So we're going to get rid of this one, and we're going to play our G, C, and E with our right hand. So it's going to be finger 1 on the G, 1, and then 3, and then 5. So that's a C major chord in second version. So kind of play around a few of those notes a few times. And it already kind of sounds a bit like a bugle call, just using those notes. Okay, our next thing that we're going to do is learn the bugle rhythms. So I'll get rid of this. I'm going to flip camera views. There we go. Okay, so bugles tend to use a lot of dotted rhythms. So dotted rhythms are simply a rhythm that contains a dot. Sorry, being very messy there. So that would be an example of one. And here's another example. So I'm not going to get too much into all the nitty-gritty of dotted rhythms today. However, we are going to learn some fruit rhythms that have dotted sounds to them, and we're going to make a pattern using those. So my first fruit is the avocado. So we're going to say avocado. Practice chanting that and tapping it, and then I'm just going to write it out for you so you can see what that would look like. And again, don't worry too much about the notation because this is new. However, it's just good to see. Avocado. Long, short, long, short. And that's the key to a dotted rhythm, really. It's just that long and then followed by a short. Or short followed by long. They're asymmetrical. Okay, the next fruit is our coconut. And this one, by the way, would more look like this. Coconut. So if we were live in a lesson today, I would have you decide on the order, but as we're not, I'm going to arrange them here. So we're going to do coconuts on the outside, and then some avocado, and then end with a coconut. And that'll be our rhythm. Coconut, avocado, avocado, coconut. Okay, so here's where we combine our set of 3 notes that we were talking about for the melody with our rhythm. So I'm just going to label them on the piano here so that you can see that. And now I'm just going to kind of do a little bit of improv here. Coconut, avocado, avocado, coconut. So do that a few times, come up with some melodies that you like. And once you're comfortable, then we are going to add in a left hand. So I'm just going to get rid of all this stuff here. So the left hand pattern is going to be our 1-4-5-1 chord progression in C. So I'm going to share my whiteboard here. In the key of C major, I'm just going to write out the scale notes, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So our 1 chord is C, our 4 is F, and our 5 is G. Sorry, that's not perfectly lined up, something like that. So I'm going to take that C, F, and G, and we're going to make a 1, 4, 5, 1, so that's going to be C, F, G, C chord progression. And so that's going to sound like this. So try that a few times on the piano. Notice that you're having to jump a lot though. And we've been learning how to use chord inversions, so we're going to take it to the next level and we're going to add some chord inversions for this. Okay, back to our grand staff, and you can grab yours as well and copy down what we're going to write here. So we'll start with our C chord in root position, so you can write this out, C, E, G. And then if we go into our F chord, and I'll play that on the piano, C and F. C and F have one note in common. C goes C, E, G, and F goes F, A, C. They both have a C in common. So the C is the note that I'm going to stay with. We're not going to move that C. We're only going to move the other 2 notes. So the E is going to go to the F, and the G is going to go to the A. And so now we're going to go from C in root to F in second inversion. And that finger 5 gets to stay on the C. So we're minimizing how much movement we need to do. Now to get from our F chord to our G, F has F, A, C, and G has G, B, D. So there's no notes in common here. What we're going to look for instead is how to minimize the movement again. So if I'm right here, I'll start from the bottom. So that C is pretty close to a D or a B, but I'm thinking we're going to go to a B because that F is also close to the D, and so it's going to drop down. So the C is going to the B, F's going to the D, bit of a tongue twister, and the A is going to go to a G. So we're going to a G chord in first inversion. Now our last chord is C, and C and G have one note in common as well, C, E, G, G, B, D. So they both have a G in common. So the G is going to stay, and the B is going to go back to C, and the D is going to go to E. Try playing that a few times until you're feeling comfortable with that. Okay, so now we're going to get back to just playing it on the piano. We're going to put our right hand and our left hand together. Now I'm trying to remember what our pattern was. It doesn't matter too much as long as you got some avocados and coconuts. I put it away, so I'm forgetting. Avocado, coconut, avocado, coconut, avocado, coconut, avocado, coconut. Fiddle around with that this week, and I would love to hear what you come up with at your next lesson.